Daniel Jeremiah joins us in studio now at Move the Sticks. We're going to sit down with him. Boys, you want to come over? Law, Chris, you want to be a part of this?
Why substituting for him?
Yeah, we can. You want to go over here?
Yeah, come on. We have an open
desk?
studio. You can.
We're just moving on the fly. Let's go.
Hey guys, we like to move around. This is a fluid set. Hey Daniel. Hi. Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. Well,
whatever you
who
want.
isn't? Come on, he's a nice guy. Thank you for joining us. We're a little loosey-goosey today.
Okay.
We can go wherever we need to
Come
go.
on, guys. You coming in?
Grab my water.
Yeah, we're coming.
Thank you.
Love having you in.
Nice to be here. Just can I request Brockman though? Can we put Law on the other side?
Oh yeah, okay, fine.
I'm just saying.
This is the handsome.
There's no dig. I just look at the T-shirts.
It's the handsome couch.
We have the same sock collection, so.
What do you got today?
I went plain. He never goes plain.
Yeah.
What are you wearing?
What do you mean? Those are my
Really?
socks. Yeah, they're great. Look.
I talked to Les Snead yesterday for a while about Austin Davis, obviously Les Snead being the GM of the Rams. And we were talking about his preparation. I think a lot of people have been surprised at how well he's come out and played, but Les has had a great point, which is that he's been sitting there watching for 3 years. What's the difference in challenge for a quarterback who's sitting watching, who's still a rookie, still got to come in and take that first snap, but versus a guy like Sam Bradford before him who came straight off the bench?
Well, I mean, you hear the phrase mental reps a lot, and everybody gives lip service to it. Oh, I'm getting mental reps this week. And when you get your chance to get on the field, you find out who has been taking those mental reps. Going through that, preparing every week, every day like you're going to be the guy, even though he knew he's hoping to make the team before the season starts. Right. So I think from that standpoint, a maturity that existed in him. And I scouted him coming out of Southern Miss. I remember talking to him at the East-West game, and I wrote in my notes, this guy, personality-wise, kind of reminds me of Drew Brees. He's just got that same kind of demeanor to him. I'm not saying he's going to be Drew Brees. Right. When I asked him at the end of the interview, I said, hey, favorite player, anybody you model yourself after? Drew Brees.
Les got a kick out of the fact that Brett Favre would go on and say that he could be as good as Peyton Manning or as good as Tom Brady. I think he was saying it's a lot of hyperbole, but that's also Les being Les. But how good is this kid?
Well, he doesn't have that elite arm strength, so he's not going to wow you from that standpoint. But what he does, he can manage the game. He can be very efficient and accurate underneath, intermediate, things like that. I think he's somebody you need to have guys around him. And we've seen the development of some of their younger players. Kendrick's a tight end's done a nice job. Now he's got a running back behind him, and Trey Mason out of Auburn. They're finally giving him the ball and doing some things. So I don't think he's one of these players going to make everyone around him better, but I think you put him in a place where you've got some stable players, I think you can win with him.
Is there any issue? Sam Bradford, they kind of doubled down on him again this year. Austin Davis is coming in there. He's doing some really good things. Yeah. Is he, any footsteps being heard?
Well, I don't think that if you're the Rams, you can rely on Sam Bradford anymore. I mean, it's a sad deal. You hate to see him get injured like he has, but you can't go into this offseason thinking he's going to be your starter and going to play 16 games. He hasn't really proven he can do that. So I believe Austin Davis is really auditioning for next year in the future right now.
You talk about mental reps. We've been getting mental reps, Law and I, for 3+ years behind Rich. And we were kind of hoping Fridays, Rich is out, maybe we're ready to get the mental reps in. Nope. Brings in his wife.
Sorry, he had to call in the A game here, boys.
You're Kyle Orton. That's who you are. You're Kyle Orton.
You
Ortoned us.
Do I look like I have a mustache?
Well, he's clean shaven now. He shaved it.
I covered Kyle Orton. I've known him for a long time, and I appreciate that. But that's not like giving me the biggest compliment. You can say she's Tom Brady.
Okay, we want to go Tom Brady. You can switch that up.
Yeah, you want to immediately be a Super Bowl Hall of Famer?
I don't know what you're be like.
Kyle Orton was brought at high priced, right? They gave him a lot of money.
That's like telling a girl she's really funny. Like, don't you think that's
great personality?
DJ, work yourself out of this one. Go ahead, continue.
No. Because what I'm saying is, what I'm getting at is.
By the way, we'll be right back after this. I'm going to wrap this segment. Keep going. You just get your foot out of your mouth on this one.
Right. EJ Manuel.
Right.
Okay. See, now work with me on this. So then
first round draft
they
pick.
went out and found a high-priced insurance because they weren't sure EJ Manuel was going to be ready to go. Appearance, production, we're not going Kyle Orton at all. Just, an expensive insurance policy for these guys.
He did a pretty good job working his way out of that.
I don't buy it. I'm suffering through that one. I'm not going to forget that one. Should we talk college football? Because my poor husband is having an awful time of it right now with Brady Hoke. Yeah. I love Brady. I think he's just a terrific guy. I have a problem with a head coach this day and age not wearing a headset. And that's solely just because, it's 2014. I love him. We love the Michigan program, but what's happening there, and will he survive the season?
Well, you kind of look at all these places where they've had issues, and there's talk of change. You look at Muschamp in Florida, same thing at Michigan. you don't identify the right quarterback. And at a place like Michigan, where we've seen for years and years, that's where the NFL was popping out all these quarterbacks. It's been a while now since they've had a guy that you could really rely on. And they have the resources and the name to go out and select guys. You're not recruiting. You're selecting the players you want. And so the evaluation of the quarterback, I think, will be his downfall.
But are you really selecting as much anymore? I mean, it's changed so much where quarterbacks are so courted and touted, and unless they have the head coach they want to play for, it's not as easy. It's not like they're resting on the laurels of the Michigan program anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, the challenge is you look at places like East Carolina, where they're successful. Shane Carden, their quarterback. And I mean, all those big-time programs have had a chance to evaluate quarterbacks like that, had a chance to offer him and bring him in. He's not going to turn down Michigan to go play at East Carolina. So a lot of times we get focused on the coaching job that they're doing, and I think it more comes to the line of recruiting and developing your players.
Jameis Winston had a huge game last week. Florida State beat Notre Dame. Did he do anything to kind of help him in the eyes of NFL draft evaluators?
I think he just reminded people about the on-the-field stuff. We've spent so much time looking at all of his off-field issues, which there's plenty of time to sort all that stuff out. Some of it very serious, obviously. But on the football field, he's the most talented passer in college football. And that second half against Notre Dame was near flawless.
He looked incredible.
It was fantastic. And the one thing about him that I think is kind of special, it's rare to find a big-arm guy, which he is. He was a 95-mile-an-hour fastball on the baseball diamond that can throw with anticipation. A lot of times those guys, they trust their arm, so they're going to wait to see the guy break, and then you see him deliver the ball. He threw with great anticipation in that one.
The way the game ended on that pick play, which they called.
Ask Brady Quinn about that, by the way.
Yeah, what's his...
Yeah, he did not agree with that. He does not agree with that call.
Because it happens so often. And look, we were talking about this. The Notre Dame receivers could have done a better job.
It was very deliberate what they were doing.
But that was a touchdown regardless almost. And
they lost. Florida State lost on that play by alignment. All Notre Dame had to do, if those receivers just either run through or just turn around and square up to the quarterback, it was going to be an easy touchdown. Unfortunately, you have the contact and they get the penalty.
Well, you got Ole Miss this week. Big game. They're number 3 taking on 24 LSU. Who do you like in that one?
I like the upset, which is weird. LSU at home playing against Ole Miss, and it's like everybody's kind of, it's Ole Miss, they're the better football team. LSU at night, Baton Rouge at night, that's not an easy place to go. And they're running the ball a lot better now with their freshman Leonard Fournette. So I like LSU to pull the upset.
Have you been to LSU for a night game, and have you been to the Grove? Also.
I've been to LSU not for a night game, and I have not been to the Grove. But LSU I've been at LSU to see them play Georgia, and I've been at Alabama to see them play LSU. If anybody has the money to do the bucket list of games,
That's amazing.
Go to those two places.
Heisman front runner at this point.
You guys, by the way, since I called her Kyle Orton, you're not even going to let her ask me any more questions. Did you notice that?
We're trying to.
I didn't notice that. I was just
no,
waiting.
I think they were trying. See, they thought there was some friction there that didn't even really exist. And
No.
Now you're creating friction where there
You
isn't
just
any.
met me. That's not how I roll. I live on friction. That sounds really bad. That being said, this is the Rich Eisen Show, hosted by Susie Schuster. That being said, let's talk USC-Utah, another night game. So what are you expecting there?
That's going to be interesting because Utah physically just beat up UCLA, got after the quarterback. You look at SC, last week we finally saw them get vertical, and that's been my complaint. You've got all these athletes at receiver, and everything's underneath. I want to see them stretch the field, and they did that. So my question is, can they do that against Utah, who has a very physical front and a great pass rush? I think it's going to be a real good one.
Don't you feel like things have settled so much more there, though, now with Steve Sarkisian back? I mean, I was there when I was hosting their pregame show. He was there, Lane Kiffin, Todd McNair, Pete Carroll, that whole crowd. I mean, I just think having him come back in has been able to settle that program a little bit more. It's just been such a crazy couple of years.
Yeah, it's been wild. And now you look at them off sanctions, so this year they can take a full 25 in their recruiting class. So I think the future's bright for USC, especially you look 2 or 3 years down the road. That's why the pressure to me is on Jim Moore and UCLA because now SC's coming off sanctions. This is kind of your time here because sooner or later a lot of those recruits that have been unable for USC to take them, now they can.
In the minute or so we have left with you, you had C.J. Mosley on this week, who's balling out for the Ravens on the Move the Six podcast, but you also had the Jags GM, Caldwell, who you're kind of buddies with. And you had a story right before the draft with Gus Bradley.
Well, what happened is I talked to Dave Caldwell before the draft the year before.
Okay.
We've known each other for a long time, and I just said during that year, I believe I have the second pick. I said, I'm going to give like 4 or 5 names of players you could potentially take because I'm on the draft coverage and I want to be able to kind of say what you liked about them. So I called him this year, and I said, same thing. I'm going to kind of run through some players. So I asked him about Sammy Watkins and Mike Evans, and we talked about 3 or 4 guys. And I finally said, all right, let's get to the quarterbacks. I want to ask you about some of the quarterbacks. He goes, hold on, I got another call I got to run. So
serious?
Yeah, I swear.
That's fantastic.
So he would not say anything.
Didn't want to say anything.
So they ended up taking Blake
So good.
Bortles, which is the big shock. So then I immediately called him the next morning, and I said, dude, there's nobody on the other line. He's like, nah, man, I didn't want to lie to you. And I'm like, well, what's worse, though, lying to me or just like lying about having somebody on the other line?
because he
technically
did lie,
still lied.
But yeah,
No pressure for poor Blake Bortles right now. Oof.
He's playing with a bunch of rookies. I mean, there are a ton of them. He's got 3 rookie wide receivers.
Burns, Robinson.
Yep, and Marquise Lee, and they've got 2 rookie starters on the offensive line. I mean, it is a young team.
Did Caldwell say anything about? Obviously, they're impressed with Bortles, but Shoelace from Michigan had a great game last week.
I mean, he's a quarterback in college, and to come out in your first game, go over 100 yards. I mean, I asked him if it kind of exceeded their expectations, but again, we talk about the preparation that the guys have, and they said he's been so outstanding and his work ethic that they really weren't surprised.
Awesome.
What do you got, Brock?
I'm just kind of
Deep in
over
thought.
there?
You're really deep in
I'm
thought.
deep in
over
thought.
there.
I was going to ask him about like a rookie quarterbacks in the NFL, how you would grade those guys so far. So we can go in that direction. I still really want to get your Heisman thoughts, but let's go rookie quarterbacks in the NFL first.
Well, I'll go first. Dak Prescott, still my favorite
Okay.
for the Heisman, the quarterback at Mississippi State. The young quarterbacks have all been inconsistent. Derek Carr's probably been the best one. But Teddy Bridgewater's had 3 tipped interceptions so far in a couple games, so it's going to take him a little while to adjust. Zach Mettenberger, by the way, have you guys showed the picture
Oh,
yet?
yeah, no, we definitely
Yes.
seen it.
How have you? His picture is phenomenal.
How much? You need stones to do that. As a rookie quarterback coming in
with
to
the
league,
headband,
With
floppy
first start.
hair.
Because he's going full Ben Stiller. That
Yeah.
makes me think about what I want to be for Halloween next week. But that's
But
probably
see,
another
everybody was putting
conversation.
all the side by
That's
side.
not creepy.
But that's probably another conversation.
Another whole cover. There it is. There's the picture. Look at that.
Look at that.
That's phenomenal. See, I thought it was kind of like an ode to Steve Prefontaine.
Oh, that's
the
a good
runner.
one.
Oregon.
Yes.
You know what it looks like? Scott Spezio. Remember old Scott Spezio from the Anaheim
That's
Angels
another-
in the
that's
World
a-
Series run? He
th-
does, right? It looks like
That's a
Scott
good one.
Spezio.
That's a good one.
See? You just
But-
thought I was Kyle Orton.
No.
That's next level, DJ. That's next level
next
stuff.
level.
We are not
Next level.
suffering from
Thank
Orton
you
deficiency
so much
today.
for coming in.
Thanks for
I
having me.
appreciate it.
Thanks
Next
for having
time
me.
you can dig yourself out and call me another somewhat unattractive.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern, on Audience.